Hi, this is Bradley Bush. Today we're going to compute something called the difference quotient. So in algebra we don't really call it that very often, but this right here actually has a name, and it is called the difference quotient. It's something that we use heavily in calculus. But here we're just going to learn how to compute it. We're not really going to do any calculus, right? So that's just as an FYI. So they want you to find the difference quotient, which means take f, insert x plus h, subtract from that f, and then divide by h. So they need to give us an f, and we have one. They do. They give us one right here. Our f is 2x squared minus x. So our first question then is, what is f of x plus h? This oftentimes confuses students, but after a brief discussion, you'll see that it really isn't confusing at all, because I think you all know actually how to do this. So if I asked you, what is f of 1? Well, you would take 1, and what would you do? You'd plop it in everywhere there was an x. So you'd put it in here and here. And then you'd compute it. You'd simplify and off you'd go. So if I asked you what f of star was, you would laugh for a second, but then you'd be like, yeah, sure, just plug in star everywhere there was an x. So we'd end up having 2 star squared minus star as our answer. That's good. What if we as an input, instead of having a constant like 1, or just one weird symbol like a star, what if we had 2 weird symbols like this? Star plus smiley face. Well, there is nothing different than what we've done in the other two. All we do is just plug in star plus smiley face everywhere there was an x. Star plus smiley face. So when we end up working it out, we'd probably have to do some foiling down here with the star plus smiley face when we squared it. But without simplifying, we can see that we have 2 star plus smiley face squared minus star plus smiley face. So really all we're doing is plugging that in. You can actually think of star and smiley face as constants, like 2 and 3. So if you said add or plug in 2 plus 3, it would really be the same as just plugging in 5. But since we don't know what star and smiley face are, we just keep them separate. So returning back here to the left, what if we wanted to then find f of x plus h? Well, we just plug in f of x, we just plug in x plus h everywhere there was a variable, just like we did star plus smiley face. So we have now this 2 times the quantity x plus h squared minus x plus h. Now we need to go a little bit further here. We actually need to simplify. So let's do that. Let's first distribute this negative. So that would give us a negative x minus h. And what are we going to do with this here? How do we handle the x plus h quantity squared? Well, how would you handle x plus 5 quantity squared? That's really x plus 5 times x plus 5 and you would FOIL, right? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to FOIL. So when we FOIL, we're going to get this. We have first, which is here, x times x gives us x squared. Then we have our outer, which is up here, x times h, which gives us xh. We have our inner in the FOIL, which is here, x times h again. And we have our last, which is h times h. So we have our FOIL. We notice right here that these two can be combined because they're both x times h. So we now have two of them. We should also probably multiply through, distribute through this 2. So let's do that. That gives us 2xh plus 2x squared plus 4xh plus 2h squared. And then we have our minus x minus h that have been tagging along from all the way up here. They just keep coming down. So there we go. We have now what f of x plus h is. It's this right here. It's kind of long, doesn't look super awesome, but we know that that is f of x plus h. Now we can put everything together and we can simplify. So this is again what we're looking for. F of x plus h, which we just found, minus f of x divided by h. So we've done the hard work. We have f of x plus h. We just take the normal function f and subtract it from what we computed with f of x plus h, and then divide by h. Do a little simplification, and we are done. So from our previous work, we know that this is that. We also know that our negative sign is right there, and we can see that our function is right there. So we have f of x plus h here. We have our minus sign there. And then we have f of x right there. And then we just have the h in the bottom, which we have. So we have the setup complete. Now we just do some simplification. For example, we are going to need to distribute this negative through. That gives us this 2 negative 2x squared and a positive x right there. Now we just combine like terms. We see we can cancel some things. Looks like this negative 2x squared can cancel with that positive 2x squared. This negative x can cancel with that. And then what we're left with is 4x h plus 2h squared minus h all over h. We notice, though, that there's an h in each of the terms in the top. So if we took that h and we kind of factored it out, pulled it out front, then this is what it would look like. It would come out front, and we would have left over 4x plus 2h minus 1. now we can cancel this h here with the h in the bottom, and we have our final answer, 4x plus 2h minus 1. So recapping, because this was kind of a long process, if our function was 2x squared minus x, then f of x plus h minus f of x over h would give us 4x plus 2h minus 1. And that's it. If you have questions, let me know. Thanks.